A little friendly reminder, get those Shein orders in. You have until May 2nd, but just a little friendly reminder, get those Shein orders in a place.
Your Shein order of random trendy crap is not an emergency. I think, like, collectively, we need the reminder that spending money is not saving money. Last week, I posted a Temu video, and in that video, I received a comment asking about how the impending tariffs may change the fast fashion or ultra fast fashion landscape. And I thought that was a good question. A couple days later, I started getting some content on my For You page because, you know, I've saved a lot of Shein videos and Temu, because of the videos that I've made on the channel. I get recommended Temu hauls. Oh my God, did I say Shemu? I get recommended Shein hauls and Temu hauls because of that. And I started getting videos from people who were saying that put in your Temu orders now, put in your Shein orders now, but a lot more Shein than Temu. Put them in now before the tariffs come into play. This really amped up after Shein sent an email to their customers letting them know that prices were going to go up as of April 25th. And some creators online, some people use this as an opportunity or an excuse to encourage people to go buy more things. And really, I think fear-mongered and promoted panic buying. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We're going to watch some clips of people encouraging others to shop and their thoughts about it. But we'll also look at the end about how this could potentially change how people shop and maybe people's shopping habits. We do need to talk about the tariffs a little bit first. And we're going to watch a clip of somebody explaining a little bit about the tariff situation. And I do want to say that this situation is evolving. Like, there has been so many flip-flops back and forth, increasing prices, extending deadlines. This is exempt, this might not be exempt. So there is a chance that some of the specifics like change day to day. But this is how things stand as of the time of my recording. So let's watch.
Right now, Temu and Shein are going to start raising their prices on April 25th because of Donald Trump's trade and tariffs policy. So previously, Temu and Shein were able to sell to American consumers extremely cheap because of a de minimis exemption within trade policy for any product sold under $800. Well, now that's going to go away, or at least it's going to be changed. And Temu and Shein have both informed their customers that their prices are going to go up starting in just about 9 or 10 days. And also, Temu and Shein have stopped or have reduced the amount of advertising they're doing on American social media platforms, American websites, and more.
So in this video, there is a man speaking to the camera. There's no B-roll or anything. I want to mention that for y'all who like the descriptions of the video, and hopefully we can maintain that throughout. I think it's also noteworthy to point out before we go further that I'm not an expert in this field. If you happen to have more information, know more information, I am happy to correct myself. So my understanding is that this de minimis loophole is mostly impacting direct to consumer products or companies, brands, manufacturers, items entering the country, packages entering the United States that are $800 or less are exempt from the duties. There's also potential that this loophole could have impacted small businesses if they were ordering at small quantities, but it seems like the primary businesses that are benefiting from this loophole has been the fast fashion, ultra fast fashion giants. If a brand is bringing in clothes, like even an established fast fashion brand in the United States, if they're bringing in clothes from China, then they're bringing in large quantities over $800. So they would be paying the duties and taxes on those items. The new tariff situation didn't inherently close this loophole, because my understanding is that imposing a 100% tariff, a 200% tariff, whatever, the administration can impose as much as they want, but as long as the de minimis loophole exists, the people or the brands, the companies, manufacturers who fall into that loophole still wouldn't have to pay that increased tariff. It's the loophole changing plus the increasing of the tariffs that are combining together to impact fast fashion specifically, or in this specific way. And not just fast fashion though. Let's now look at the email that Shein sent to its customers. I'm going to read it in full and it's going to be on the screen. Dear customers, thank you for your continued support. Since we began serving US shoppers, our goal has been simple: to offer great fashion at affordable prices while creating positive impact in the communities we serve. Due to recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs, our operating expenses have gone up. To keep offering the products you love without compromising our quality, we'll be making price adjustments starting April 25th, 2025. Until April 25th, prices will stay the same, so you can shop now at today's rates. We stocked up and stand ready to make sure your orders arrive smoothly during this time. We're doing everything we can to keep prices low and minimize the impact on you. Our team is working extra hard to improve efficiency and stay true to our mission, making fashion accessible to everyone. This email sets the tone a little bit, and I don't want to fault the TikTokers entirely because this sets the tone. If you want to shop at today's rate, do it now. This is directly encouraging FOMO and impulsivity. If you wait, you're going to pay more. We've stocked up and stand ready. Like, if you buy what you want to buy, we can complete your order. This hasn't really been the experience that I've been seeing online. I've been watching a lot of these videos, and so many of the comments that are usually code for code are more like, my order has been canceled. My order has been canceled. Mine has been stuck in shipping. And I'm seeing a lot more mixed messages about how ready they are. And I don't really know how this tariff situation has impacted the volume. Like, are people like really shopping more and they can't fulfill the volume? Or is it just more people talking about their experiences online? I'm not sure. What is important to note here is that they don't state how much their prices are actually going to increase. They just say that it's going to go up. I think that's a little bit intentional. If we want to give Shein the benefit of the doubt, which I do not do, but if we wanted to, we could say that they just don't know. But I kind of find it hard to believe that a global fashion brand that is as big as they are wouldn't put situations into play and start making calculations like that day that these things are announced, even in impending situations. Like, they have a big ass team. So I bet you they already know at the time of this email how much they're increasing their prices. But if they don't say how much they're increasing their prices, people can assume the worst. Now, this is exactly what is driving the content. Let's watch somebody's PSA on this.
This is for all the girls that live in the USA. Shein just released this, so we have about 10 days to place our orders. Basically what it's saying is after April 25th, the prices are going to skyrocket. So right now they're working with us, so they're keeping the prices the same until the April 25th date. So we have like 10 days to order. Save on that order, you're going to look up all of these codes in the search bar of the app, and all of these items are running promotion. So you'll see that they have different categories to them. So go ahead and screenshot this so you have it. It's not the prettiest, but it's the Excel spreadsheet from my computer and it does the job.
In this video, there's a young woman speaking in front of a camera holding her laptop, and she eventually puts like a screenshot of an Excel table on the side of her video, but there's no b-roll or anything as well in this video. Like, she treats this as a PSA. This is for girls in the US. You have 10 days to put in your Shein order. No, Shein's not closing down. Shein is not closing down, and she says the prices are going to skyrocket. No, ma'am. That is not what they said. And I get where she's coming with this mentality, like the tariffs are like 145%. I get where the logic is coming from, but they never said skyrocket. They actually haven't released any information, which I think is intentional because it's led to this. It's led to people get your Shein packages now. And here's the interesting potentially situation about this, because I think this email is maybe murking the water a little bit as well. There is confusion as to whether there are going to be price increases plus you pay 145% when the thing gets to you. And how duties work for you, the customer, when the thing comes to you kind of depends. Like, somebody's going to be paying the duties, like somebody will be, but who is a little bit up for grabs, because some brands will factor that into their price and they will pay for it on behalf of the customer. So when the thing comes to you, you aren't paying anything. It's delivered to you right to your door. This has happened to me when I've ordered from Everlane in the past. They've covered the duties, and some other American brands as well. So it just comes right to your door, like any other kind of domestic mail. Other companies, like when I've ordered from Cezanne in France, or when I ordered from ThredUp, you do pay shipping, or sometimes it's free shipping. But like with ThredUp, I paid $28 in shipping, but that item would not be released to me until I paid the duties on that item, which I paid like $40, $39, something like that in duties, which you don't actually know how much your duties are going to be in some cases before it gets to you. Some brands tell you or estimate the cost of your duties. And so there are lots of ways that this is being handled. My understanding of how Shein is handling it is that they are going to be taking care of the duties for the customers. So it's going to appear at your door just like a regular package, but they're increasing their prices in order to make up some of that. There's speculation that price increases are going to be about 30%, which, like, yeah, 30% is 30% extra, but 30% on a $10 t-shirt is $3. I'm not saying it doesn't add up, because it does, but your $10 t-shirt, if this is how it's being handled, is not going to become $150. This is straight up encouraging people to shop, and here are my codes. Let's look at another video. First part of the video on the screen, the title says $50 at Shein now versus ... There are items on, like, lying on the bed. There's a 2-piece bathing suit with like a gold glittery starfish on the bottom. There are some hair clips. There's a couple of tops. And then, like, right at the bottom, like one of the more prominent things featured is like a crop top, pink, summery looking top. And then it flips to a smaller version of what we just saw, and it says $50 at Shein after the 145% tariffs on May 2nd. And the first screen, there was about 10 items, and here there's 4 items. Beyond the fact that that's not really how the tariffs, like, they're going to work for these kinds of items, do you see the problem with this? What I see is a bunch of trendy spring summer stuff that, like, you don't actually need. You probably already have super cute things in your closet. You probably already have enough clothes. And the things that you are buying from Shein are super trendy items, like the top, like the flower hair clips, like the bathing suit with the gold glittery starfish detail, that you may not be interested in a year's time, let alone 2 years or 3 years. And the reason why you want this stuff in the first place is because it's so much fun to get that little pleasure hit when you're shopping from Shein, because everything is so cheap. You can throw it all in the cart, and it's also trendy. So, like, you want it really badly, and it fits right into the right now aesthetic. Shein is so much about the pleasure of shopping. There's also this video that says, "Why y'all ain't tell me Trump postponed tariffs? Now I get to cancel my emergency Shein order." You literally did not need this stuff. If you can cancel it, this, I mean, like, could it be a money problem? Maybe, but, like, this is not really the implication of this. You didn't need it. You never needed it. It's this FOMO. It's this, like, this is not so much like influencing other people, but somebody who, I mean, there is still influence when you're posting stuff online. There's also somebody who is influenced and, like, feeding into this rhetoric of, like, you need it now because you won't be able to buy it. It's not an emergency. Your Shein order of random trendy crap is not an emergency. It feels like one, because the prices are going to go up, but, like, we're truly letting this unknown factor into us buying things. I get it that the tariffs suck and are going to increase the cost of goods and it's not just China that is experiencing these high tariffs and the fact that a lot of things are made in China, but there are also essentials like food that will also experience a price increase. But this is not equivalent in any capacity to that. The shein stuff is stuff that, like, a lot of the time people don't need. We've seen so many shein hauls on this channel of people, even when they are talking about basics, it's like their 12th t-shirt or like their 25th sweater. You still don't need that sweater. She posted another video which has like a trending audio on it, which I'm not going to play, just going to throw up on the screen now. And on the screen is the laptop, like her opening the laptop, going to Shein. You get to see a couple of the things that are in her cart. This got 1.8 million views. It's crazy. This is a really small creator. The success of this video has encouraged her to make multiple videos. Like, she made another one of her buying, I think it was like Apple products, tech products, which are currently exempt from the tariffs at the moment, but who knows, they could be added later on. But they were exempt at the time of her filming this video. And it's just like encouraging her to make, she's made multiple of these videos encouraging people to buy up or implying that she's going to be buying things. And let's watch one more video.
I was about to do a Shein order because I know the tariffs is about to be crazy or whatever. And I'm like, I think I did an order already. Why I found all this stuff that I've never worn, that I bought twice. This I bought twice, this pink here. And I haven't even got into this bucket of clothes right here. So there's no telling how many duplicates is in this bucket as well. But yeah, I remember doing summer clothes shopping at Shein. I'm like, let me do another order, give me some hats and stuff. But I already got a lot of stuff I haven't worn yet. And I still gotta go through all of this. I still gotta go through this. And this look like winter stuff from Shein that I never wore. All this stuff, never worn. Pajamas, all of this. So I have to go through all this stuff today. I really do. I never wore none of this stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. I thought I was gonna be trying to save, before the tariffs, but I don't even need to do no shopping. I need to go through this stuff first and then decide what shoes I need.
I think, like, collectively, we need the reminder that spending money is not saving money. Buying stuff you don't need is not saving money. And she, like, implies in this video that she's not going to buy more stuff. And then she goes like, oh, what about shoes? And then in the comments, she says, I think we need to order ASAP. After April 10th, it's going to be expensive, I think. No. I get how the uncertainty about the tariffs can be scary or just uncertain. And that can affect people. That can make people stressed and anxious. And some of that can come from the ripple effects that may come from the tariffs, or that maybe it's not just your clothes anymore, but maybe it's the other things as well that is adding to the uncertainty about what's going to happen. And all this flip-flopping of will they, won't they? Like, will he put in the tariffs? Will he not put in the tariffs? Are they going to be extended? Are China and the US going to come to some kind of agreement? Like, I get the uncertainty of it all. But do not let these videos entice you to go shopping at all, let alone on Shein and Temu. Because the question isn't, is this going to cost more in a month or 2 months? The question is really, do I need this at all? She already has like literally dozens of items that she's never worn that are unopened. And we see time and time again with these Shein hauls of people buying so much random stuff that they don't need. Buying literally 15 bikinis for their week-long cruise. We saw that a couple weeks ago. Hauls with 50 items worth of stuff. Like, almost nobody needs to bring in 50 things all at once. And what's really happening here, I think, is that the tariff situation is going to make people's shopping habits unattainable. It's going to be disrupting how people are used to shopping, and they won't be able to shop like that anymore. And that can be scary as hell, because like I'm trying to put myself into maybe some of these people's shoes. It's really about disrupting the shopping habits and how people are used to spending their money, where they're used to getting their pleasure and their dopamine. And now it kind of feels like I can't do that anymore. And I can sympathize with this to an extent, because me, like 6 or 7 years ago, if I was not able to shop the way I shopped when I was stressed or experiencing difficult emotions, that would have been extremely distressing. Not because I couldn't shop at Temu, but because, I never shopped at Temu, but just hypothetically, right? Like, not because I couldn't shop at this specific store, but my coping mechanism and my dopamine hit is now disrupted. Like going on a cruise, that was another one that I saw. I might put it in now. We'll see if we have time for that. I'm a yapper and I just sometimes don't shut up. But like going on a cruise, going on a vacation does not necessitate you buying more things. You don't inherently need new clothes because of a vacation or a cruise. The thing that should impact whether you shop, how you shop, and how much you buy is your current wardrobe. Do you currently have spring, summer clothes? How much do you have? Is it wearable? Like those kinds of things are the questions that should impact us, not am I going on a cruise? So this is your reminder that you do not inherently need more items, more clothes, or anything of that nature, because there will potentially be added tariffs in a couple of weeks' time. And do not let these videos fearmonger you or scare you into what could be an impulse buy. And I really think that this scarcity factor is encouraging people to impulse shop. A lot of this is encouraging people to impulse shop. Go place your orders now. But if this is triggering for you, maybe this is not the content to be watching right now. And I hope that I can be a little bit of maybe a proverbial line in the sand, or like your friend, being like, do you really need this? Is this really the time to shop? And if we are worried about economic uncertainty, now is not the time to go place the $300, $400, $500, $600 Shein or Temu hauls. We're now going to watch another video of a creator who is going to talk a little bit about the tariffs, but then she's also going to be talking about some of the implications of them for fast fashion.
Something about Donald Trump's tariffs that hasn't gotten a ton of attention yet is this loophole that the Trump administration closed that I think could profoundly impact fashion, online shopping, home decor, trends, all in one fell swoop. And it has to do with a little known loophole called the de minimis exception. Now, to be clear, up until today, this was totally legal, but under the de minimis exception, packages that were valued under $800 could come into the United States duty-free, so not taxed. This is partially why stores like Shein or Temu can keep their prices so low, because if they're shipping your item from the warehouse or factory in China, they're not paying that fee unless you're ordering more than like $800 worth of stuff. This is obviously a very popular way to ship things to customers in the US. And under the Biden administration, I believe they estimated that more than 1 billion packages a year come into the US under this de minimis exception. So they're not paying duties on these small packages that ship directly to the customer. Now that Donald Trump has closed this loophole, these packages, these billions of Temu packages or Shein or Amazon packages will, one, be inspected more closely by customs agents and also will be taxed when they come into the country. It's not just companies like Temu either. Think about all of the drop shippers, for example. All of that stuff is going to go up in price. Obviously, people will feel the tariffs at the grocery store or buying a new phone or a new computer or a new car. But I think maybe one of the first places we'll see this change is when we are shopping online. Americans have gotten very used to this ultra cheap fashion, home goods, and home decor. And I've written in the past about how this is very much an illusion and how this entire ecosystem is about to come crashing down, and now it's starting. Think about all the influencers that make their money selling you things that are coming straight from China. Think about the influencers who are selling clothing that was produced in China. This industry is about to get turned on its head, and I am very curious to see what happens to people's shopping habits when they can no longer afford or justify even the cheapest of goods. I'm very curious what will happen to the trend cycle when people just can't buy $5 dresses anymore because the cost has gone up. Small businesses that place orders for components or parts or supplies that come from China, they're going to be affected. Their prices are going up. Was the de minimis exception abused? Maybe. A lot would argue yes. A lot of Americans have just simply gotten used to this illusion where a $5 dress or a $10 pair of boots or a $20 winter coat seems like the right price for the item, when in fact this price was artificially kept low. Obviously thanks to things like the de minimis loophole, but also things like cheap, abused labor somewhere else in the world. I actually recently wrote about this in the context of Amazon, so I'll link that video in this caption. I think we are all in for a lot of change, not just in our personal lives. Obviously, the price of everything is going up, but also the very nature of content creation and of influencing, and especially in the fashion industry, like, there is no going back. Things are about to.
She said so much in this video. One thing to note, though, is that this is from February. So this is from before this like back and forth that's been happening with China. A lot of what she says does stand. The one exception might be that this will for sure impact the industry and influencers and how people shop. I think that there is a likelihood of that, but how and to the extent is unclear, because if this loophole gets reversed, or if there's an extension, or if China and the US come to some kind of agreement, then things might go back just to how they were. And a lot of people in her comment section, I've kind of seen this as well, as people who are paying higher tariffs, they've said that that hasn't stopped people in their respective countries from shopping things like ultra fast fashion. And so I do think that there is the potential to disrupt people's shopping habits. And she is right that the cost of these goods are an illusion, and they are kept at artificially low prices because of a lot of factors, including the fabrics that have been chosen, as well as like skirting environmental laws and producing ways and maybe ways that they shouldn't be produced, including the price of labor and unfair labor conditions. And then also I just think that like the duties exemption is just one small piece of that. And this might just push more people to, let's say, shop at other fast fashion stores opposed to stopping altogether. She also raises the point that fast fashion altogether has affected our perception of value and cost and what things should cost, what stuff is worth. She did mention influencers and their capacity to influence us, and I do wonder if that's going to change at all. I do think that we can potentially hear more about people emphasizing price or mentioning tariffs in their TikToks or their Amazon must-have videos. Maybe people start saying these are the cheapest brands on Amazon, like if they're doing the Amazon stuff, and then using the tariffs as like a marketing strategy. Buy from this brand website or use my coupon code to get money off in this tariff climate. Probably likes her language than that, but you know what I mean. I also think that brand loyalty can be involved as well. Like Shein didn't raise their prices as much as this brand. Like, let's go shop there. These are the cheapest brands on Amazon. Go shop there. I think there's always an angle to sell people things. And I do think that how much brands increase their prices and how much of these tariff costs are being offset to the customer, I think may vary, because if customers refuse to shop at some of these stores because they've increased their costs, they may not increase them as much, or they may offer more discounts. Like that's a potential. And then also I think that, well, as I was mentioning, influencers are going to go where the money is, and they'll try and sell people things in the most relevant way possible. And so I think that some of this framing we see on how they sell things will potentially change. I don't think they'll stop selling them things. I think that it's just the framing that may change to try and get people to shop from these brands or the kinds of things that they're selling. So I want to go into the comments of this video. And somebody says, I hope that this will create a shift in culture when it comes to the overconsumerism in this country. I would assume all the cheap items made from plastic can't be good for the planet. 16,000 likes. Somebody says, I mean, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Our spending habits do need to change. Be nice to see quality items made again. I haven't so much talked about like potentially shifting businesses to the US or like American made, or because in this context we're talking about the US, because I can recognize that some of the implications of these things are not in my wheelhouse, and I'm not discussing them not because I don't care or I don't want to get political, but more so I don't have the full realm of knowledge that I would like to have in order to talk about those things. Somebody else says, and I agree with this a lot, if this dampers fast fashion, I think that's an unintended positive consequence. I doubt it though, more likely it's just going to stay the same and cost more. That is my central problem with the ultra fast fashion of Shein and Temu, is just how extensively they promote overconsumption. We've talked about it before, the prices and the advertising and all of that, and like the quantities that you can get as well, really promotes people buying a lot of things. And then also because the things that they produce are extremely trendy, and because they can get to the market so quickly, they can have turnaround times of days. There's a comment thread that I want to touch on, and this person says, the thing that people don't understand is that many of us buy these cheap things, but we keep them forever. We can't afford luxury priced items, especially if they will still fall apart. I want to touch on this, not because of this person, but because this is a common pushback, and I feel like you can't really talk about the ultra fast fashion without talking about these things. First of all, there is a middle ground between the ultra fast fashion and luxury. It's not one or the other. And what she says, that people like buy these things and keep them forever, this might be her experience, which I do not want to undercut, but that is not reflective of a lot of how people actually shop. Because according to Earth Day, globally we wear clothes 36% less now than we did in 2002. People wear their items on average 7 to 10 times before they discard them. Additionally, the average person today buys 60% more clothes than they did about 16 years ago, but we keep them for only half as long. We are overall collectively purchasing more things, and we are not owning those things that we purchase for longer. We are discarding them even quicker at an increasing rate. Of course, average is not the same as median, and these statistics are always imperfect, but these are some of the best guides that we have available to us. And what our guides show us or tell us is that the faster fashion has gotten, the more people buy and the less that we own things. And then there's a little bit of back and forth. And somebody says, I wish more people would understand that our wages won't keep up with these increased costs either. Most people are not shopping like you see online. Most of my furniture is secondhand. I think they're right that many people's wages are not going to keep up with the increasing costs of goods. I think that's at least a fair thing to say. And also I agree that most people are not shopping like the influencers we're seeing online. However, that does not mean that overconsumption is not happening, or that the people primarily shopping at Shein are people who cannot afford to shop differently, because it's a well circulated piece of information that the average Shein shopper is a 35-year-old woman who spends $100 a month on clothes, or $1,200 a year. That is somebody who can shop differently. And as well, on average, 30% of our clothes and our wardrobes go unworn. And we don't need to shop exactly as we're seeing online in order to have shopping problems, to have constant buy and declutter cycles with our clothes, buy more than we can afford, buy more than we can use, etc., etc. And that all of this isn't even touching on the sustainability, climate crisis of it all either. And so perhaps this is maybe the time to start our breakups, your breakups, their breakups with the ultra fast fashion. There are alternatives. And I understand thrift store pricing, Poshmark pricing, all of that, or Mercari is increasing, but specifically the thrift store. I understand that. And I can also understand how it can be disheartening to see thrift stores full of Shein or Temu, but that's not all that is available there. And at the thrift store, you can find higher quality garments than many times what you can buy from the ultra fast fashion. Ultimately, the best thing we can do is use what we have. This is the perfect time to use what we have. And if the majority of your clothes are Shein, wear them. This is not me saying go throw out your Shein or go throw out your Temu. Wear the clothes you have as much as you can. I also cited a piece of information recently that's worth mentioning again here. Extending the life of clothes by just 9 extra months of active use will reduce carbon, water, and waste footprints by around 20 to 30% each. Using what we have is the best course of action. And as we conclude today, I want to say that a lot of these videos encouraging people to shop and buy more things are not coming from the ultra influencers, the biggest influencers. And those people are going to be the people who are the least impacted by these things. They can still continue to shop where they want to shop and influence people, especially if they are aligned with the brand or they're doing sponsorships or things like that. And a lot of this is not actually coming from these big influencers. It's coming from people with average jobs and average salaries, people who don't have a lot of influence online. And that is what I don't like. And so I would like to be your voice of reason here. You do not need to shop and buy more things right now. That doesn't need to be your reality if you don't need more things. And yes, we're talking primarily about clothes today and like accessories and shoes and home goods and all of that. So thank you so much for watching. And if you need some de-influencing, I have a de-influencing playlist where I answer the call from y'all to talk you out of buying things. I also have a couple of Shein videos and Temu videos that are de-influencing these kinds of hauls and shopping from these websites. So if you need a little bit more of that content right now, I got you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon.